Well, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Escape from Duckov video. Now today I wanted to talk about what the best weapons are in Duckov, as there are over 100 weapons in this game and that's a lot to pick from. We have 78 range weapons and 28 melee options. And does that seem kind of high to anyone else? 28 melee weapons in a game like this seems like way too many. But anyways, I'm going to break down what's best to use early if you're just starting out, and what to swap them out for when you make it to a new zone. I'm going to cover everything from small caliber weapons all the way to the snipers. Now let's get into it. So before we get going, I am on my basically maxed out endgame character, so some weapons may look stronger than they actually are if you aren't quite here yet with your research upgrades. Alright, starting off, let's talk about the short range weapons. Ideally, since you have 2 weapon slots, you want something for close and long range. So starting off, let's talk about the small caliber weapons, the pistols and the SMGs. So starting out, the pistol will be the first weapon you unlock, and they're kind of a letdown. The PM and TT-33 only have 2 weapon attachment slots, and the highest damage variant, the Glick and the Space Glick, can have a maximum of 3 attachments. Unless you're doing like a John Wick challenge run, stick to the SMGs for this caliber. So what are the best SMGs then? Starting out, you'll want to find an MP-7, 5 attachment slots and 8.5 damage. So the damage is a little lacking, but it makes up for it with its high rate of fire. Open up on your target with a hail of bullets and you have nothing to worry about early on. And you can actually upgrade this to an electrified MP-7, which is strong against space creatures and machines, like the Night Spider bots. But once you get to the mid-game, drop that one for the Bison too. No magazine slot on this one, but it has a high capacity mag to make up for that missing slot. And 10 damage per bullet is an upgrade. It's possible to get one from the warehouse area from a lucky drop, but much more plentiful in the farm town zone. And lastly, the best SMG in this game is the MP5. All 6 attachment slots are unlocked for this one, making it fully customizable. And at 12 damage per bullet, that's hard to beat. The only other sub that beats this on raw damage is the Uzi at 14, but that gun's got its own problems keeping it from the top. The MP5 is my go-to weapon for J-Labs. Lots of close quarters fighting, this weapon is amazing once you get your hands on it. But if SMGs aren't your style, perhaps a shotgun can fulfill your close range needs. There are 7 in the game and they all feature the highest single target damage per bullet. The downside being obvious, it's a shotgun. It's a deadly one-shot weapon at point-blank range and shoots wet toilet paper past 5 feet. So the first shotgun you're going to see early on is the TOZ 106, sporting 50 damage at close range and the detachable magazine, making it very deadly at close range. I would drop this weapon once you gain access to the TOZ 66 Dragon's Breath in Farmtown. 50 damage just like the last one, but with the added incendiary rounds. Adding burning damage to any enemy is worthwhile. If you can maim your target and then get some distance, the fire damage should be enough to finish them off. But the absolute best shotgun in the game is the MP-155 Ultima. 4 attachment slots, 60 damage at close range, this thing is a house, and it's pretty easy to craft once you get to the late game. If you want to one-tap enemies, then this is the shotgun for you. I'm admittedly not the biggest shotgun fan in this game, but this weapon's where it's at. And if we're going to talk about close range, we should talk about the best melee weapons. Now, the majority of us aren't going to be using these in combat for the most part, but switching to these is much faster than running around with your pistol or SMG out. And we have to talk about the best early game option, the Battle Axe. This monstrous weapon sports 40 damage if you're going to swing it, making it the highest raw damage melee weapon in the game. But once you get to the mid-game, you'll unlock the tactical knife cases that you can buy for 5 grand a piece, and there's 2 you're looking for depending on what you want from your knife. If you want the most damage, the kukri is going to be your pick. Much faster than the Battle Axe and with +4 armor penetration. The 27 damage kukri can one-shot a lot of enemies in the farm town area. But if you're a movement speed demon, then you want the karambit. 21 damage and +3 armor penetration, so it's not just for show, but a higher movement speed than the kukri. Once you get to the late game, movement is super nice to have. Zooming around the map to finish your objective and get out is the name of the game. And I mean, look at it. If this were Counter-Strike 2, this thing would be worth like 8k. Wait, what happened to their economy? To shreds, you say. You hate to see it. Okay, and for your second weapon slot, we're on something for long range. We have AR rounds, large rounds, and sniper rounds. But which weapon is right for you? Well, let's break them down and see what your playstyle is. I also will point out that there's a ton of miscellaneous weapons we're not going to cover. There's 2 bows, 2 magnums, a rocket launcher, the little energy weapons, but all of those are either not super viable like the bows, or hard to find ammo-wise like the RPG. So we'll just stick to the main 3 categories right now. Starting out with the AR caliber, we have a weapon that's very easy to use in the first zone, the MF. 13 damage and all 6 attachments, and it's extremely easy to use. This truly is the M4 of Duckov. Take out some of the mercenaries in the first zone and you'll see one in no time. Plus, when it's time to vault this weapon for something better, remember it has a blueprint that can add poison type to the gun, which breathes new life into this weapon for late game, if you want to bring it back. Now for the top spot, I think it's either one of the next two rifles can compete here. The first one you're likely to see is the AK-103. All 6 attachment slots like the MF, but 17 damage versus 13. Now this gun does have more recoil than the MF, but at this point in the game you should have better weapon attachments and some character upgrades to negate some of the downsides, because the extra damage is absolutely worth it. The final gun in this category worth looking into is the DT MDR-556. This bullpup has 15 damage right in the middle of the other 2 ARs, but only has 4 attachment slots. I find this weapon easier to control than the AK-103, so really just preference here. And I know the RPK exists, but its slow mobility makes me walk around like a juggernaut in COD, so I'm not the biggest fan. And it's only 1 extra point of damage over the AK, so I don't think it's worth it. Next up we have the large caliber ammo, which can be used on full auto rifles and semi-auto marksman rifles. It's a good in-between from the AR and sniper ammo, but in my opinion, once you get to the JLabs part of the game, I would ditch the ARs entirely and stick with the L ammo for extra damage. And I'm not really into the 2 semi-auto guns in this caliber, the M14 and M1A. I think if what you want to be doing, you should just fully commit and stick to sniping. So for the first full auto rifle is the DT MDR-762, which is basically just a direct upgrade to the 5.56 version we just talked about. 5 attachments and 19 damage, it's just better in every way. Plus look at that special Black Ops finish. It's just begging to be equipped. But there is one gun better if you want the ultimate full auto long range weapon. The MCX Spear is what you want. All 6 attachment slots, 21 damage. If you're using AP rounds, goodbye to whatever enemy you're facing. I can regularly 3-tap enemies with level 5 vests and helmets. And this is actually the main weapon I use to finish the game, including the final 5 bosses. And thankfully there is a quest so you can just buy these so you don't have to worry about losing them again. And lastly, we have the longest of the long range options, the snipers. There's only 5 in the entire game and I really need to talk about all of them. In the early game there's 2 VPO snipers. The regular 101 version, and the boss version dropped from Lordon. The regular version has all 5 attachment slots at 21.3 damage, and the boss version loses 1 attachment slot for 22 damage. So early game, this is really it. If you like clicking heads, then by all means go for it. Mid-game we're introduced to the Mosin Nagant, but it's honestly not better. 20 damage and only 2 attachment slots, so I'd skip that and go right to the end game here. And honestly, I get these right around the same time. The M700 I got slightly earlier at 22.7 damage in all 5 slots, so it is a direct upgrade to the VPO, both versions. But the SV98 reigns supreme at 24.7 damage in all 5 attachment slots. This weapon is what sniping is all about. Headshot enemies with the AP rounds and they won't have a chance to shoot back. Also not a bad way to open up boss fights against unaware opponents. Take a shot or 2 and switch to your close range weapon for the kill. It's a deadly combo. And that's pretty much all you need to know about the weaponry in this game. Let me know what your go-to 2-gun loadout is in the comments. I'd love to see them. Mine personally is the MP5 and the MCX Spear. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.